The other thing we saw here as well, the whole fight in the war. So with the bread, God showed you need to depend on me every day. With the water, I can give you even out of a rock, where it's impossible to get water from. I mean, if I stamp on this here now, water is not going to gush out. It's very hard soil here, clay soil, not going to gush out, right? Um, God provided, He showed them that he can provide. He's been doing it so often by now. In a war, fighting in a war, the first where they had to fight. And God again taught them the lesson. While Moses holding it up, they're winning. When he lets down, they're losing. When they do what God said, they're winning. When they don't, they're losing. The soldiers down there, they didn't change. The same soldiers, same whichever weapons they were using at that stage. Same enemy. Winning, losing. The difference, God. The difference is God. A just war, not an unjust war. The difference is God. They had to depend upon God. God showed them for the food, which they were going to need in this new land, for the water, which they were going to need in this new land, for the victories over the enemy, which they're going to need in this new land. Right? The judging of other nations. The only way they can do it is through the grace and the provision of God. No other way. Another thing, then I just quickly want to bring out here actually, the concept of just and unjust war. There are certain Christians out there, I remember in Russia, especially the Baptist church, they were totally against promising your allegiance to the country, fighting against wars. I know the Jehovah's Witnesses are like that as well. But here, clearly, there's a just war. There's a concept of a just and unjust war. The Jews did not go out there. This is not the land they were going to stay in. They were just there for a while, just traveling through. I mean, it's like if you get in your car, you travel from your town to another town, and on the way, you're not going to buy the farm. You're not going to come and steal anything on the way from here to the other town you drive. You're just driving through. And then the way people stop you, they take your car, they kill your children. And, are you just going to stand by? Is that right? No, it's not. That's unjust. So then there is the concept of a just war. You need to protect your people. So nothing wrong in that sense with a just war. An unjust war where, right, they have weapons of mass destruction. We need to go and destroy them. And then there's never found any weapons of mass destruction. But you know what, the heck ever, we will just believe them next time again. So many young people die. Russia, Ukraine, doesn't matter wherever in the world you go. Sudan, Gaza, Myanmar, so I mean, I can go on and on and on about all these wars. Ethiopia, Venezuela, there's too many to mention. That's not just wars, that's unjust wars. There's an evil perpetrator. So the people have the right to defend themselves. Right? For Christians in the Chin State, they have the right to defend themselves because it's a just war. They are being bombed from above. I mean, the Chin State is just over the mountains here, not far. Just, unjust war. It's not a just war for them to start a war, to go out there and fight just because they, like, say, for example, if the people here in Mizoram will now stand up against the Indian state just because they want to be free. There's no war going on there, right? There's no reason. That's going to be an unjust war. Christians here, they don't have the right to do that because they're not under attack by the Indian government. They can't use, but I've heard lots of people here kind of speak about these kinds of stuff. So, I mean, I understand. I want my independence as well. I mean, same as for people. But I understand as well at the same time there's a bigger country. There's heaven, right? I'm a citizen of heaven now anymore. I'm not a citizen of some other little place on this planet. Just unjust wars. Just war is when you attack self-defense. Unjust war, you go out under the guise of self-defense. I mean, people always come up with these reasons, whatever. No. Stop it. Dependence upon God. You always need to depend upon God. Right? You always, for everything. And I spoke about it yesterday already again, from a previous version. You can look at that. Doesn't matter for what. We need God. God is like the air we breathe. We think it's just me opening my mouth, taking in oxygen, coming through my nose, whatever. But take away the oxygen, I die. But we treat God as something that's just there when we have a problem. Stop treating God like that. Understand that you need Him 24/7. There's no other way. These flowers here, right? Just to take away the sun, going to die. Take away the water, it's going to die. We need God as well. He is our bread, Jesus. He gives us living water through His grace. So yes, understand that. Listen. So God in the Old Testament, here again in this chapter, He proved Himself that He's not this monster. He's not out there to destroy the Amalekites just because they're Amalekites. Because they deserve the judgment for an unjust war they started. The grace of God, and when these people grumbled again, God didn't destroy them. Here comes the Amalekites. God just said, oh, okay, man, they just grumbled about food, bread. They grumbled about water. They grumbled about Pharaoh chasing them. They're grumbling the whole time. They're never satisfied. Here comes the Amalekites. I just let them finish the job. I can wash my hands and I can go rest. No, that is what the tyrant will do. No, what did God do? He gave them water. He gave them victory in the war. Grace upon grace upon grace. This God in the Old Testament, the so-called tyrant, is just grace everywhere. Again, I want to say, this is not now, after the death and the resurrection of Jesus, that we live in a grace dispensation. It was always grace. We never deserved anything. They didn't deserve. We didn't deserve. We moan and groan the whole time, but God gives us grace. We sin the whole time, and God forgives. What a God. What a God. So enjoy this beauty. This is beautiful. This view is beautiful. The beautiful mountains, the green. Now the mountains looks like hills here because we are 1,600 meters above sea level. So although they might be closer to 2,000 meters, there is, you know, and the beautiful flowers and different flowers and the rice and the different colors and the houses and everything. There's so much beauty which we don't deserve. But that is the grace of God. God gives us all. What a God. So enjoy this beauty. Enjoy God. Like Bible said, enjoy God. Right? Soli Deo Gloria.